Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So here I want to showcase and test out the new mount. It should now be Thursday, September the 12th, which means you can obtain the Firefox Lockbox and obtain these following rewards: the Red Mountain Fox and the Heart of the Volcano. I'll have a link in the video description, but there is a dev blog which we have covered in a previous video, which includes all of the nitty-gritty details, as you can see here. What we do want to confirm is if they work properly. Do you actually gain an increase in recharge speed and a noticeable difference in your cooldowns? And the same with the equip power. And to just double check with the Insignia bonuses here. Also, the artifact, which we have already tested out in that previous video, will confirm again, does it work with the 10% damage taking debuff, and does it really not stack with the Heart of the Black Dragon as they claim here? So first of all, this mount. We can see again it has Vulpine Vigor, crit strike and 3% recharge speed. And the combat power, Invigorating Foxfire. So let's get this thing equipped. Again, it should have 4 slots right there, and we can check all of that out and showcase what it looks like. Here's the appearances: the Invigorating Foxfire and the Vulpine Vigor bonus. We can slot it into our stable here. We can view all of the Insignia bonuses. It does indeed have Defender's Retort, Enchanter's Hex, Lionheart's Perseverance, Warlord's Motivation, Master's Precision, Mender's Covenant, Accursed Resolve, Cavalry's Alarm, and as per the 3 slot Insignia bonuses, Cavalry's Warning and Magistrate's Patience. So definitely some useful ones here, like Hex for DPS, even Defender's Retort, particularly on tanks, Warlord's Motivation for your DPS there, and even like Magistrate's Patience can be somewhat useful. But still, there are a lot of alternatives which can give this, and I will definitely add this mount to my mount document linked below, where you can initially see all of the different mounts that give these certain bonuses, including like the 3 slot bonuses, and then yes, every single different mount right here, the full layout of exactly what they give and whether it's preferred or not. With this mount, you can get Enchanter's Hex, Lionheart's Perseverance, Warlord's Motivation, Accursed Resolve, and Magistrate's Patience with the preferred 100 extra item level bonus. Just be aware you cannot actually have Cavalry's Warning as preferred, as that just gives Accursed Resolve instead, despite what it claims here. You can see the full list right here, and again, you'll find it and all of the other 4 slot mounts in my document linked below. So let's go and mount up and have a look at this mount. There you go. Quite cute. But yeah, no real special mount up animation. And the spacebar is a fox jumping around. So that is definitely unique. Let me know if you've seen it before. I certainly have not. Turning the audio up on the mount, you can definitely hear it a bit. You can shake its ears like that. And then the spacebar animation is this here again. And it makes a bit of a call out like that. Very cool little mount, and I definitely like it a lot. The mount up animation does have a bit of a call out, as you can hear there, and then the run animation is this. So somewhat similar to what you find on the wolves. Overall, yeah, pretty cute. We can go to Hope now with it, but I'm not exactly one to get a mount just for its visuals. Let's have a look at its combat power. Right here, Invigorating Foxfire should be able to create an area on the ground, dealing periodic damage and boosting our recharge speed. So as a demonstration, we go to a group of enemies, and once we're in combat here, we can place this area on the ground. Once we do, the fox comes in, and now you can see all the enemies take that damage over time. Now, we unfortunately didn't critically hit. But yeah, this area is going to last 10 seconds. And for that duration, we should also see that our recharge speed gets boosted. Again, without our alacrity from our set, we're at 18%. So we should be at 33% when we use this power next time we're in combat. Going over here, we put the area on the ground. And as long as we're within the area, we do indeed gain that boost up to 33%. But if you go outside the area, you lose that. So that's something to keep in mind. Be aware the recharge speed bonus here will affect your powers even if they don't finish their cooldown when you lose the buff. That is unlike the recharge speed you gain through like the Masterwork set with Alacrity. As you can see, if we use a power like our Battle Fury, and then we use our other encounter powers here as well, we're at 3 stacks of Alacrity, but when these fall off, you'll see our encounter cooldowns go back up again. It went back to 10 seconds. You will not see that with this mount combat power, meaning it does actually work on those long cooldowns. So if your cooldown doesn't finish by the time you lose this buff, you will still gain that boost. So your encounter power will have its cooldown reduced. As we go here in combat again, use that Battle Fury. You use the combat power, you can see the cooldown goes down. And even when this area goes away, you won't see that cooldown going back up like you do with the Alacrity set. So that's useful, but that is something to be aware of with the Alacrity set, and something I hope the devs would fix. Because right now it's quite annoying that classes with long cooldowns can't really take much advantage of Alacrity with the recharge speed. It would be nice quality of life improvement to just generalize that and make it so that when you do lose the stacks, you still gain the recharge speed effect for the powers that are still on cooldown, rather than the cooldown going back up again like I just showed you. As for the equip bonus itself, 3%. If we just switch over to something else that got the same item level, you can see we're down to just 15% recharge speed. So that works as well. It's a quite interesting effect, which could create kind of a weird change in endgame artifact calls if we had more mounts or just more impactful recharge speed bonuses. Imagine, say, they change tacticians to not stack, and then gaining an extra 2.5 second cooldown reduction could be very useful. And if we had the mount like this giving 25% recharge speed, you could have somebody use that versus a different support mount, and then it could contribute to that effect, basically changing up how endgame would be played then and how you could optimize those burst scenarios. But yeah, we'll have to see. In its current state like it is, I don't rate it very highly. There are just better mounts than it. Like we have mentioned before, for multi-target damage output, you're just better off with the Pegasus, the either mythic one or legendary one, same story, 1000 magnitude with a damage buff effect as well. And then there's the Space Guppy School mount with its combat power, which is really good as well. Basically, those two are like the ones I would go for multi-target damage. And for like supports, your tanks and healers, you can just be better off using mounts like the T-Rex, which is gonna root everybody and cause them to take like 15% more damage, and even having minion consume. So last thing to mention is then the artifact. You're gonna receive it in the Heart of the Volcano pack here. You'll bind that by opening it, and there you go. You now have the bound Heart of the Volcano, which then you'll equip, and there you go. As per the devs, it's got range 40 feet and the line is width of 20, so 10-foot radius cylinder basically. And you can see when you cast it just here, that's the line of fire out from you. We'll go to some enemies as well, and we did go and check, does the debuff work? And it does. It increases your damage by 10%. But it also will reduce the damage you take by 10%, which means it's very nice for tanks to use. If you're going to say take a tank buster or something, and then you're also contributing to your team dealing damage to the target as well. We can go to these enemies, we can cast it, and you can see they all take that damage, and they all have then that debuff. They're all going to take increased damage on my attacks, which is great then to also use as a support effect. The damage output is nothing to write home about. It's really nothing. You're better off with alternatives. Even your Searing Conduit of Magna to just give yourself a 22% damage boost would be better than that. Now we can go and confirm here, does the Heart of the Black Dragon stack with it? One player casts it, I cast the Heart. We can see there's two separate debuffs on the enemy, but if we go and check our damage output, we can find our effectiveness is still just 73%. Additionally, the damage has not been increased, Normally it's 15,995, and with one artifact it goes to 17,594. That's a 10% debuff increase, and so yeah, that's not 20%, meaning they don't stack. So anybody who tells you they do is incorrect and is just looking at the icons on the enemy. Yes, it shows two separate icons, but they have no effect to increase the damage further than just one of them. Now there is another thing that's very concerning, is the artifact does not appear to have been account wide here when I've gone and equipped it. Now I did not obtain that artifact from the lockbox, so that potentially could have something to do with it. Now we did go and open the pack like you would do with these other artifacts, as you can see here, and so it could just be a bug. We have heard in the past that if those top rewards in the lockbox are not account wide, then it's most likely a bug. Be sure to get confirmation from others if it's account wide or not, because for me it does not appear to be so. Looking on the original character where we have the artifact, we can also see it does not show up in the claims valuable as something you can claim, at least not on the top there. Let me just scroll down. Just mounts, companions. Yeah, it does not seem to be amongst any of these. We can see the mount is account wide. It shows up correctly here at the latest of all of my other mounts, but the artifact not showing up. Again, most likely a bug, but do keep your eyes open and look for confirmation whether it is or not, if that's going to be a big deal for you. I know for me, playing multiple tanks, it can be. I would definitely prefer it to be account wide. But again, even if it's not account wide, it is still technically best in slot. The highest item level there of any artifact with stamina regen. And we're sorely limited on artifacts with stamina regen, so it is very valuable, because the only other ones is like Mythalar and that scintillating symbol of water. So as your third one, you would just use ones that have like only 600 item level, like the Wheel of Elements, and there's many others as well. But missing like 1,200 item level is a decent amount. And to confirm, the artifact is not unbindable. But yes, a very cool mount here. Some people did want them to add like multiple tails, but I think it's decent as is. Having like 3 tails can sometimes just look super odd, but it can fit the mythologies. But once again, thanks for watching. A special thank you to all the channel members for your extra support. And I'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.